Well, Coach Kim Barnes Arico, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great, Coach. I got to say, we were thinking a lot about you guys last week as you hit the road to go down and take on Indiana because you were the team. You guys were going to be the first team, along with Indiana, of course, to play in the building after the metal fell from the ceiling. So I'm curious. How much was that on your mind, on the minds of your players as you were heading down to play that game?
It was definitely on our mind. I mean, one of the biggest things that we say in the program is to try to eliminate distractions. So we tried not to make it a big deal with the players, but it was definitely on our mind because we found out about it on our drive to the airport to catch our flight to head there. It's when we had just read about it on ESPN and just saw it on Twitter. So we hadn't even discussed anything with them. And as soon as we got to the airport, we weren't sure if we should fly or not because the men's game had just been canceled. So we weren't sure, and we didn't want the game to be canceled, but we knew if it was a safety issue, we weren't going to be able to play there. So we were kind of in a holding pattern temporarily.
Right. So were they telling you that you were going to play the game somewhere, if not at Assembly Hall?
Well, that's what we were hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, they didn't have another location on campus, and they were trying. There aren't any other universities right there, so they were looking into places in Indianapolis. But with the schedule being as it is, it's hard to make up a game like that, and we were already on our way and prepared for it. So we wanted to play it wherever it was going to be. So we were kind of trying to push for that. And they said they were looking into those things, and they were meeting with the engineers to see if their facility would be available. But then even if it was available, we wouldn't have a typical game day preparation. We wouldn't get a shoot around there, and they probably wouldn't have all of their, seating available.
Mm-hmm.
But we were able to play, and they were able to go. It was kind of a game time decision. Well, they decided a little bit earlier, but they said the court wouldn't be ready really till game time.
Gotcha. So yeah, like you said, fortunately, no issues at all, and certainly no issues for your team. You go down and you get that victory, 70-58, and a couple of things jump out. Number one, Indiana, big run heading into the break, and they have a 6-point lead, and you guys come back and win the game. And looking at my notes here, that's the first win this season where you guys have trailed at the half.
Yeah, that was a great accomplishment for us. Usually we have gotten down and we haven't really been able to figure out how to get back on the other side of that. And that was the first time Indiana went on a run. They're really a good three-point shooting team, and they had made 3 threes before the half to take that lead. And we felt like a lot of them were based on our turnovers or poor decisions on our offensive end, which led to easy baskets for them. So we made some adjustments in the second half, and the kids did a tremendous job of stopping the three, and they only made actually 1 3 off of a missed free throw, I think, with 10 seconds left in the second half. So the entire second half, they had only made 1 3, and we did. We put it together in the second half and had a great run, and really were able to do that for the first time all year. So that was exciting to see.
The other thing that jumps out, Coach, Shannon Smith, big-time performance, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 assists. Early in the season, when the season first gets underway, it was kind of the Shannon show. She was your ace scoring night in and night out. Then she gets injured, and your team becomes more multiple. You get greater contributions from all over the roster. This is the first time, again, going back to December 14th, where she had a 20-plus point game.
Wow. I think a couple things happened, Sam. Like you said, I mean, she got injured, but also, the competition changed. And, we always talk about this with our men and how Nick has responded and how Karis has responded, because now Shannon's facing that. We're not only facing Big Ten competition, but when you put up numbers like that, you're facing the opponent's best defender night in and night out. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to be physical with you, and they're trying to bang you around. And Shannon's really thin and tiny. And she had to get accustomed to that, and she had to learn to adjust to that. And, Coach, they're holding my jersey, and, Coach, they're not allowing me to get open. And then when I get the ball, they're double-teaming me. I say, oh, well, welcome to the world of Big Ten college basketball. So I think it was kind of a little bit of an adjustment. And then the same thing happened to Sierra Thompson, our little freshman, after she hit 5 threes in a game. Then she's facing the opponent's best defender. And then same thing happened to Saisha Corey. So I think the more and more your team improves, And the more individually you improve, the tougher the defense is going to become on you. And that's when you really have to adjust. And that's when you have to, improve your game and grow your game and be able to do multiple things. And I think we have really seen that with Nick Stauskas and with Karis LeVert. They're facing opponents' best defenders night in and night out, and then they're making adjustments to their game. And, Nick's become such a great passer and able to, score off the bounce as well as the three. And that's the same thing we talked to Shannon about. You have to be more consistent. And the men have been such a great example for us to watch, and just really their development and how much time they put into it, and really going against the other team's best, defenders. So I always show our kids, like, okay, look, this is what's happening to them, and this is where we have to go. But Shannon really, figured that out against Indiana and had a great game.
And the other thing, playing both ends of the floor, you said something about Saisha last week that I think is something that maybe the men could kind of look to, because Coach Beeline would talk about, having a separation between offense and defense. Don't rely on your your offense being good for your defense to be good. Saisha's been one all season that it didn't matter what was going on offensively. She played the other parts of the game. I look at this contest for Shannon. I think that's one of the things that you can really point out with her too, Coach. On the defensive end of the floor, she's really been good for you, and she was good for you in that game against the Hoosiers.
She was terrific in that game, and I think Shannon, and that's really a hard concept for most young kids to buy into, because when they come from high school, they're all world, they're superstars, they do everything on offense, and they really, don't do much on defense. Some kids, but for the most part, you have to get them to buy into that concept. And Shannon, we've been trying since the beginning of the year to really push her to defend, because she has the ability to do so, and she has the body to do so, and the quickness to do so. And I think, it's been a process all season long to really get her to value that. And I think Saisha understands that a lot, because the defense creates our offense. Mm-hmm. And now Shannon is starting to see, heck, if I get up and I defend and I get a tip or I get a deflection or I get a steal, this is resulting in easy baskets for me. And her strength is in the open court, and her strength is in transition. And now that she's become a better defender, it's really actually helped her offense. So, Shannon gets really excited when she scores over 20. So if that means she has to defend a little bit harder to get over 20, she's willing to do that. So she has really bought into that the last couple of weeks, and it's definitely helped our team.
We're talking to Michigan women's basketball coach Kim Barnes Arico here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. So fast forward, Coach, to Saturday. You take on Iowa on Senior Day, and it was, I tell you, this is an interesting game, because if it were a fight, it would be, a fight that was comprised only of haymakers, because you guys come out, go up 13-0. Iowa comes back, gets a 16-point lead. Then you guys go on a 13-3 run and a 15-0 run to get back in it, and then Iowa pulls it out at the end.
It was an incredible game, and it still pains me how many days later I still really haven't slept too much, because it was just such an incredible game. And they are really, really a good team, and we knew it was going to be a tough matchup for us. But it went back and forth. We came out ready to play. And, the challenge for us has been all year long, our schedule. And it was another, last game of 4 games in a 10-game spurt. So I really wasn't sure after the Indiana game how much we were going to have left in the tank. And we had to be really smart in preparation. And we used a lot of that time for more mental preparation than physical preparation against Iowa. And Iowa, coming into that game, actually had their bye week. So they had a week to prepare for us and get their legs back and get their shot under them. And I think you could tell that by them making 10 threes in the game. And they're an experienced squad. I mean, they drew some fouls down the end that I thought were questionable calls, and their last 4 points were scored off the free throw line, and we weren't able to do the same down our end. But it was such a great game. Anybody that had a chance to watch it, it was back and forth. It was incredible, and our kids played exceptionally well. We just didn't come out with a victory down the stretch, but it was great for our seniors. Kendra Cito started the game and did great and was part of that 13-0 run to start the game, and Val Driscoll was just absolutely sensational.
Yeah, 8 for 8 shooting for Val Driscoll, 18 points. A career high. So, Coach, I mean, was that a concerted effort to get her the ball in this game, or is that something that you've been trying to do anyway?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think, we knew they start like 5 guards, so we knew we were going to have a mismatch both on the offensive and defensive end. So we had to play zone, and I think that's kind of what allowed them to get some threes, is that we had to play zone when we went with Val and Saisha because they're so big and we wouldn't have been able to match up with them man. But then we wanted to take advantage of our size inside, and our kids did a great job of really looking inside, of attacking the high-low, of getting Val or Saisha touches. And what happens normally is Val just passes the ball. Normally she doesn't shoot the ball. So we've kind of all year long been trying to get her to shoot. And, you know, in practice, I mean, she doesn't miss from, you know, the free throw line in. In the game, we can't get her to take it. So it was funny. She took the first one from the free throw line, and it rolled around the rim. I'm like, oh, gosh, please go in, because I knew if it didn't go in, she wasn't going to shoot it again. And it rolled around, and it went in. And it was funny because during our first time out, our video coordinator, Drew Markowitz, said to Val, yeah, Val, way to shoot the ball during the timeout. And she goes, I'm going to shoot it every time. And I just chuckled because that's not her personality. Obviously, we can't get her to shoot the ball. And she actually did shoot the ball, and she was just terrific. And it's, you know, so great for a coach to see a young lady develop the way that she has and have such a special night in front of her parents and her family and our team.
Well, Coach, last couple of things for you. I know it was alumni weekend, so curious how that went for you guys. And you mentioned it, you know, the Hawkeyes had the bye week heading into your game. Well, you guys finally get a bye week as you prepare for Penn State, obviously a really, really, really good team. So tell us about what Penn State brings to the table.
Yeah, well, first, Sam, just to comment on alumni weekend, it was great. And I think, you know, one of the things that our program really wants to make an effort to do is to try to get our alumni back and to try to get them involved. And I know there's been, you know, a couple different coaches through the years, so our alumni really is scattered all around. So we're trying to really make an emphasis on getting them back and getting them connected. And, you know, we watch our softball program and the tradition that they have and the tremendous job in football and men's basketball, and we're just trying to follow the Michigan way and try to really get you know, our alumni back. And this was the start of something special, and hopefully it continues to grow and grow. So it was a great weekend for our program overall. But getting on to Penn State, golly, they're up to number 8 in the country. They have one of the best scorers in Maggie Lucas in the country. She's averaging about 25 a game. When everybody in America knows that she's the best shooter in the country, she's still averaging 25. So she's an impressive young lady. It's going to be senior night for her, so it'll be a special game for them at their place. But you know, they're also young in some other spots, and last night they had a tough game against Nebraska, who beat them, I think, by 25 at Nebraska. And Nebraska's really a great team, so they're fighting for first place in our conference, Penn State and Nebraska. So they have a lot on the line when we come to town on Saturday. But it's a great opportunity for us to regroup. It's the first time since the first week of the season that we've had a bye week. So it gives our kids a chance to rest their legs, to get rejuvenated, to get back in the gym and get their shooting touch back. So I'm excited about this week and about heading to Penn State on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Well, great stuff as always. We will talk to you a week from today about the Penn State matchup and getting ready for the Big Ten tournament. So thanks a lot, Coach, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Thanks, Sam. As always, great to talk to you.
All right, that was Michigan women's basketball coach Kim Barnes Arico. Got to get